Good morning, students. Welcome to the class first PUC biology. In previous class we have discussed about the general characteristics or life cycle of pteridophytes, and one more is gymnosperms. In this class let us discuss about 3.5 angiosperms. Angiosperms. So what are the general characteristics or salient features of these angiosperms, or what are the characteristic features of these angiosperms? How do you identify these angiospermic plants? Okay, just I will brief up about the characteristics of angiosperms. This is not much difficult to identify the angiosperms when compared to other category of plants. The plants which we see around us, almost all angiosperms only. And these plants can be easily identified by the presence of flower. So that these are commonly known as flowering plants. Flowering. All angiosperms are flowering plants only. If this you can understand, whatever the plant which bear flowers are all called angiosperms. And these are commonly known as covered seeded plants. Covered seeded plants. What is the meaning of this covered seeded plants? Seeds are covered by fruit wall or fruit. So that whatever plant which produce flowers, they are all angiosperms. And also the plants which have fruits or which fruits are present around the seeds, they are all called as angiosperms. Okay, and now we have to give much importance to the flower here. Okay, flower, you know that very well. We will study in detail about the structure of flower in second PUC. Even then we have to understand a little bit about this structure. So flower, what is a flower? Flower is a reproductive organ. Flower is a reproductive organ of a plant. It is a reproductive organ. Okay. So flower is a reproductive organ. You know that very well. So generally a flower has two clear differentiated parts. Each flower has two parts. One is called as a non-essential whorls of a flower. Non-essential part or non-essential whorl. We can understand. You can understand the word here. Whorl. Flower. The parts of a flower are arranged in the form of whorl. Therefore, these are called as a whorls. There are non-essential whorls, and another one is called as essential whorls. Essential whorls of a flower. Essential whorls, non-essential whorls and essential whorls. What is the meaning? Why the word non-essential and essential whorls are used here, or non-essential and essential parts are used? So this non-essential part, which includes mainly calyx, and another one is called as corolla. Calyx and corolla are the two non-essential whorls of a flower, and essential whorls of a flower, which includes one is called as an androecium and another one is called as a gynoecium. Androecium and gynoecium. So these two are called as essential whorls of a flower. Now here essential and non-essential is mainly depends upon the participation of the parts in the process of a sexual reproduction. In what way they are directly involved in the process of reproduction. So these two parts are not directly involved in the process of reproduction. Therefore, they are non-essential. And here this androecium and gynoecium, these parts are directly involved in the process of reproduction. Therefore, they are called as essential parts. Now, what is this androecium? Androecium is called as male sex organ of a flower. Androecium is known as male sex organ. It is called as a male sex organ, which you have already studied in your 10th standard, it seems. Androecium is called as a male sex organ of the flower, and gynoecium is called Okay, gynoecium is called a female sex organ. Female sex organ of the flower. So like this, we can identify male sex organ and a female sex organ in a flower. These are called as male sex organs and female sex organs. Now, you may get a question in your mind that there are several interesting facts regarding this angiosperms, or particularly regarding this flower. Whether all the 4 parts are present in the same flower or in a different flower. The answer is sometimes this calyx, corolla, or both are present. In some plants, calyx and corolla together forms only one whorl. In most of the plants, in dicotyledonous plants, calyx and corolla are present in a separate whorl. And regarding these sex organs are concerned, most probably this both male and female sex organs are present in the same plant, and such plants or such flowers are called as bisexual flowers. Bisexual flowers. Okay, those flowers which have got both male and female sex organs are called bisexual flowers. But there are some plants which have got only androecium or which have got only gynoecium. Such flowers are called as unisexual flowers. What are those unisexual flowers? Which must possess either of the sex organs. Either only androecium is present or only gynoecium is present along with calyx and corolla, then the flower is unisexual. Okay, it may be unisexual male or unisexual female. So like this we can classify. And when we come to the this androecium, so this androecium is a whorl sex organ, and which is made up of its units known as stamens. Androecium is made up of stamens. So this androecium is made up of stamens. So like this stamens are present. And so this stamen, it consists of generally 2 parts. Stamens have got 2 parts. Okay, one is called as lobe-like structure known as anther. So this is called as anther, and basal portion, elongated stack-like structure known as a filament. Each stamen has 2 parts. One is called as an anther and another one is called as a filament. Anther and filament are the 2 parts of this each stamen. Okay, androecium is made up of many stamens. Each stamen has 2 parts. One is called anther and another one is called as a filament. And when we move to the next component, that is gynoecium. Okay, next to gynoecium. Gynoecium is also called as pistil, or it is also called as a carpel. And this pistil or gynoecium, which is made up of 3 components or 3 parts. One is called as stigma, and another one is called as a style, and the next one is called as a ovary. Okay, each gynoecium is made up of, each carpel is made up of 3 parts. One is called a stigma, style, and ovary. Okay, so when you think of this, which is made up of 3 components, 3 parts. 3 parts are present like this. Now this is called as a stigma, and this portion is called as a style, and this is called as a ovary, basal portion. Now you have to define here what is the stigma. Stigma is, okay, we can define in a different way, which is receptive part of the pollen grains, or landing platform. Landing platform for pollen grains. Landing platform for pollen grains. So this is what in this way you can define. And style is middle elongated portion. Okay, so this is middle elongated portion of the pistil is called as a style. Now this is style. And ovary is a basal swollen part. Basal swollen part of the pistil is called as a ovary. And for us, this ovary is a very, very important part as far as their reproduction is concerned. This ovary has on its inner wall a cushion-like structure known as placenta. Ovary has a tissue called as placenta, a cushion-like structure called as placenta, and this to this placenta a structures called ovules are attached. Ovules are born. Ovules are born on this placenta. Okay, so ovules are born. So in this way, ovules are born on this placenta. And when we come to this ovule, if you think of the ovule, so this ovule is made up of different structures. So ovule is present like this, and this ovule is attached to placenta. And this ovule, as you studied already in case of a gymnosperms, this ovule contains ovule, or it is also called as megasporangium. It contains a tissue known as nucellus. It contains tissue called as nucellus. So this nucellus tissue is present in so this ovule. Each ovule has nucellus tissue. So nucellus, from this nucellus, okay, one cell of nucellus is differentiated into megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Similarly, megaspore mother cell is formed from one cell. Okay, it gets differentiated into megaspore mother cell. This megaspore, from this tissue nucellus, okay, which tissue gets which cell gets differentiated? That cell which is present towards this end. This end is called as a micropylar end. In the ovule, we can differentiate into different parts. So now this is called as a micropyle, and this portion is called as a chalaja. This you will study in your second PUC. And the cell of the nucellus which is present towards micropylar end, it gets differentiated into megaspore mother cell. So this megaspore mother cell, I can write in short form, megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. It undergoes meiotic division. And there is a formation of a 4 megaspores. Formation of 4 megaspores takes place. So when the 4 megaspores are formed, and out of these 4 megaspores, so 4 megaspores, 3 megaspores get degenerated. 3 megaspores get degenerated and only 1 megaspore becomes functional. Okay, out of 4, 3 gets degenerated, only 1 becomes functional. Okay, so now this is called a functional megaspore. Okay, the nucleus of functional megaspore, okay, undergoes sequential mitotic division. It undergoes mitotic division, so there is a formation of a 8 nucleus. Formation of a 8 nucleus takes place here. So out of which, okay, 3 nucleus which are present towards one pole. Okay, so in this way, what happens here? 3 nucleus will be present at one pole. Now this is like this. Okay, 3 nucleus are present at one or three cells. Now these are covered by, later what happens? So this 8 nucleate, when they are formed and they are covered by cell wall and they become say cells, and 3 cells are present at one pole and 2 nuclei are present at the center, and another 3 nucleus are present at opposite end. So in this way, so they are arranged in the embryo sac. Now this structure is called as embryo sac. So this functional megaspore develops into embryo sac. This embryo sac contains total okay, so this contains 8 nucleus. 8 nucleus is present, and the nucleus, the cell which are present, 3 nucleus which are present towards micropylar end, and these are called as okay, egg apparatus. It consists of one egg cell and another 2 synergids. And this structure together known as egg apparatus. So this structure is called as egg apparatus. Okay, egg apparatus, and the 2 cells which are present at the center are called as polar nuclei. So polar nuclei, and another 3 cells which are present at opposite end or chalazial end are called as antipodals. So in this way the embryo sac has different cells. Okay, and later, okay, these pollen grains which are present, which are produced by the stamen, this anther has chambers. This chamber called as pollen sacs. These structures called as pollen sacs. These pollen sacs, they contain, okay, that microspores. These microspores later they develop into pollen grains. These pollen grains are carried by various agencies like wind, water or animals and they are transported and they get deposited on the stigma. Okay, you know that very well. This is ovary, stigma and style, and pollen grains get deposited on the stigma. And afterwards what happens, this pollen grain, okay, pollen grain which carries male gametes and they are transported through the formation of a pollen tube. Okay, pollen tube formation takes place and through which these male gametes which are present in the pollen grain, they are transported and these male gametes fuses with the egg nucleus to form a zygote. So that here what happens, egg after fusion with the male gamete, male gametes, okay, what happens here, two male gametes are present in case of angiosperms. This is a very peculiar characteristic and afterwards what happens, it develops into zygote. It develops into zygote. One of the male gametes fuses with the egg to form a zygote and one more male gamete which is present in this pollen grain fuses with this polar nuclei and it becomes primary endosperm nucleus. It becomes primary endosperm nucleus. Is formed only after the process of fertilization. And this whole process of fertilization and is called as triple fusion. So there is a specific unique characteristic that is called double fertilization. Okay, double fertilization is present in angiosperms. Double fertilization and triple fusion is present. Triple fusion is the unique characteristic of angiosperms. The process of a double fertilization. What is the meaning of this double fertilization? Here, the pollen grain carries two male gametes. One male gamete fuses with the egg nucleus and fertilization process is completed. Or syngamy is over and one more male gamete it fuses with the polar nuclei and it becomes a triploid endosperm nucleus. So this becomes triploid endosperm nucleus and it is changed into diploid zygote. It changes into diploid zygote. In this way, the process of fertilization will be completed and this process is called as a double fertilization and a triple fusion. So, these are all some important characteristic features of angiosperms and not only that, the entire life cycle of angiosperm is completed and angiosperms are divided into two classes. One is called as a monocotyledonous plants and another one is called as a dicotyledonous plants. Monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous are the two classes of this division angiosperm. Okay, so with this the general characteristics of angiosperm is over. Okay, thank you very much and we will discuss remaining life cycle of angiosperms in the next class. Thank